I'll be sharing processes which I'm going to take to actually quit my own job. And these are written down laws that has been used by so many people. I'm not the first person. I'm not the second person. These are proven laws that has worked over time, no matter what country you live at, no matter whether it's a developed or not developing country. Actually, the book which I read it from is a book that was written in 1920 something. So it's a very old stuff. It's a written down law in life. The first way is a part of what you make is yours to keep. And this also applies to someone who is a business person and wants to advance or become big in his business. This is literally a way to get rich. So the first law is a part of what you make is yours to keep. No matter how much you're being paid, whether you're being underpaid or you're being overpaid, a part of what you make is yours to keep. Now that number could be decided by you, by yourself. It depends, and it depends on your age. If you're way more younger, I feel like you should make that bracket, that number more bigger, because over time you at that time maybe you don't have expenses. Like currently I don't have any expenses. I live with my cousins slash my family. I do shovel um within my family and my cousin, so I don't have much expenses at this time. Like my feeding and other stuff, they still feed me, stuff like that. But so it means a part of what you make is yours to keep. That a percentage of what you make is yours to keep, regardless of how much you are being paid, regardless of your situation. Because if you have been paid, let's say you're at a job that you're being paid 20,000 naira, you still find a way to survive on that budget of 20,000 naira. And now, when you now have a job, they pay you 50,000 naira, you should find a way to save something, even if it's 10%, even if it's 20%, even if it's 30%, even if it's 40%. That number should be decided by you. And I think you should do it based on your age as well. Like if you're way more younger and you don't have expenses at that moment, right, you should make the number more bigger so that you are going to achieve that goal in time. Every month after you have been paid, you might decide to keep 5,000 naira. Depending on, I'm talking based on my country, we use naira. So you might decide to put, if you're in a foreign country, if you make $1,000 a month, you might decide to put down $300. Let's say you keep down 50% of 40% or 30% of your income in a month down, multiply it by 12 months, you see that you have something saved up. Now that's your savings. Now if there's an investment opportunity that comes out that you want to dive into, it will be way more easy. You have that excuses of I don't have money and where will I see the money to put into this thing. You won't have all those excuses. You see that money now as opportunity money that are going to throw into any business that comes your way, or something that you want to invest, or something that you're going to do over time for you to be able to escape the rat race, right? So when you keep that money for a year, multiply it by let's say 5 years, you see that you have something saved up. But say for example you don't keep any money at all, right? Within that 5 years, that's when you keep roaming within that loop. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's not going to be really easy. Like me right now, like it's not easy on me, but the kind of mindset I have is more like you just need to sacrifice now. Though sometimes the pain is, I don't like to, the pain is crazy, but you just have to like sacrifice at that moment for a better tomorrow. Control that expenditure. All these laws are all correlated. Like you can't do without one because they are all processes. Like you have to take it stage by stage. So this second one is control that expenditure, in the sense that for you to be able to save, you have to sacrifice. And sacrifice comes with controlling the expenditure. That's controlling how you spend your money. That you should have just priorities of what you have to do at the moment, not overstraining your budget on your current income. Like reduce the way you party, reduce the way you buy luxury stuff, reduce the way you buy things that are not of priority at the moment, right? So let me give an example. Mr. A makes 50,000, and at the end of every month, Mr. A try to keep 20% of what he makes at the end of every month, right? And Mr. B makes 100,000, and Mr. B spends everything just to keep up with the Jones. He gets luxury bags, he gets luxury stuff, he takes himself out, he tries to splurge, right? Now Mr. A keeps 10% or 20%. Now if you should multiply his 20% or 10% times 10 months times 1 year, that's a lot of money saved up that he can use to invest and start his own business or start something else or put into anything he likes or invest it. But Mr. B now splurge and just spend his money, because when you make more money, you have more problem indirectly. But it's up to you now to control how you spend your money and how you use your money at that moment. You reduce your hand from getting expensive stuff, hanging out in that high-end restaurant, taking yourself out. Just sacrifice those years. If not, you continue being in the rat race. No matter how much you have been paid, even if you have been paid 200,000, if you don't keep a percentage of it every month consistently for a year to 5 years to invest into something, you still remain in that rat race, because you know that once you make that money, you start seeing places that you have to go. You start getting friends that will call you up, let's go and hang out here, and you guys start spending recklessly. But if you try to control, no matter how much you've been paid. Now I give an example of Mr. A making 50,000, right? And I give an example of Mr. B making 100,000. You see the two difference. This one is making more higher than Mr. A, but Mr. A just had to sacrifice no matter what. Even if you have been underpaid, just try to sacrifice a bit, because it adds up. That's the power of compounding. Like when they say compounding, the money compounds over time. It's 10% you are saving, those 20% you are saving. It could be 5%, even if you are married. It will be 5%, but it adds up over a year and becomes something that you can use to start up your own stuff. Becomes something that you can use to invest into something that will cash flow you, that will bring cash flow for you. Or there'll still be someone that will be like, I don't make much money and I have a family. Yes, you have a family. Even if it's 5%, save it, but just save something. Just keep down something, because at the end of the day, when you have cash saved up, and you might see a group of people that want to go into a business, or that want to build up something, or that want to build up a project that is going to cash flow you guys later on, then you guys will come as co-investors and invest that money. So no matter how little you have, no matter how little you make, try to save a percent of it. It's more about building financial freedom and making yourself free forever. The third point is multiply that goal. Now, you see from the beginning, if a person who don't save a part of what he makes, and who doesn't control the expenditure from what he makes, you will be able to multiply your goal. Because if you don't save and you don't control your expenditure, where would you see the goal to multiply? So you see, like, these are all correlated laws. And the book I read it from, if you like to get in-depth knowledge about it, you will go check The Richest Man in Babylon. That's the book I read it from. Now, after reading that book, you should structure it to the wealthiest man in your street, the wealthiest man in your country, and check their life story, and you obviously see that that's how they started. So when you control that expenditure, when you save a part of what you make, right, and you control your expenditure, for you to be able to save a reasonable amount of money, then you'll be able to multiply your goal. Then that's when you can look for co-investors or co-founders. Then you start a business, or that's when you can start a little business for yourself, so you can you can dip your legs into the entrepreneurship journey and see how it is. Because when you start with a little business, you'll be able to grow with this same law, because you also invent these same laws into your small business, that you'll be saving a percentage of it from a percentage of what you make from your small business, keeping them and controlling your expenditure. Not because you started a small business, you now feel like, I can now splurge. No, it hasn't gotten to that extent for you to start splurging. When you have like a big business that you don't have to be in that business, that's when I feel like you should be able to splurge the way you like. So you see, now when you were able to, from the first point which I gave, you're able to save a part of what you make, then you control how you spend your money on things that are of priority to you, right? Let's use Mr. A and Mr. B. From our previous point, we said Mr. A saves a part of what he makes, right? And now when it comes to multiplying his good, it's way more easier for him to multiply his good, because he has something saved up that he can use and multiply his good. Or Mr. B, on the other hand, who splurge and just get expensive stuff and doesn't have any savings at all, you see that it's very hard for Mr. B to invest, because at first he doesn't have any good to multiply. So where did he want to get the good for? But Mr. A, who has been saving all this while, who has been able to keep down something, we're able to see something to start up a little business for himself that he can use to advance his life, that he can use to test the journey of entrepreneurship, or that he can co-invest with other founders and they'll build up a business for themselves. You can't leave the first point and jump to the third point. You have to take it sequentially, because you have to save first. For you to save, you have to control your expenditure. Then multiplying your goal, that's when you can look for a business to invest into it, or you can look for co-investors. Then you guys will find something that will cash flow you guys. The fourth one is protect thy good from loss. Now, if you have saved, if you have controlled your expenditure, and you are trying to multiply your goods, you have to protect thy good. What I mean protect thy good is when someone comes up to you now and be like, okay, I want us to be business partners. I want us to go into a particular business, right? What you should do at that moment is not carry the whole money you saved for 5 years or for 2 years or for 3 years and hand over to that person. What you should do at that moment is take a part of that money that you're trying to protect your good, because there's no business that's 100% guaranteed. There's no business that's 100% sure that you are going to make it in the first year or even in the first 2 years. So what you have to do at that moment is protect your good by investing a part of it into that business. I'm not saying, yes, it's good to be a risk taker. Yes, it's good to take risks, but take calculated risks, because when you take uncalculated risks, you have to go and start afresh again. When you take uncalculated risks, it's better to make money, like profits, little by little over a particular period of time than putting your whole money once into a particular business and it crashes. You should try to protect your good from loss, because when you have those money saved up, you see different people who come up to you and be like, I have this business opportunity I want you to invest in. I have this thing I want you to invest in. And at that moment, you can fall prey into different things. And note that any business you have been promised extraordinary profit with little capital is probably a scam. They're trying to eat you up. So you should have that in mind. When someone promises you something big for giving them something little, know that it's probably a scam. So, and you should always trust your instincts and stuff like that. If you make a mistake and you invest your whole money into something, because like I said before, no business is 100% certain, no business is 100% guaranteed that it's going to work till it works, right? So you have to invest wisely, reach an amount that you are willing to let go, because over time you see that you're playing a long-term game, and only way you can achieve more profitability is by staying long in any particular game. So invest and try to protect your good in case you don't really know, because when you have those money saved up, like I said, and you try to control your expenditure, and when you are trying to multiply your good, if you don't have a business of your own that you want to start, people will come up to you with different business opportunities asking you to come invest into it, and most of them might be scams. Most of them might be something that wants to eat up that your initial capital. That's temptation. But the only way you can play the game, I'm not saying you should hoard your money. The only way you can play the game very well is by risking what you are willing to let go. Then as it grows, you invest more. But if you have $10,000 saved up, you might try to invest like $3,000, because yes, note you are taking risks and you're also taking calculated risks. Because if that $3,000, for example, goes down, or you guys were not able to make profit from that $3,000, now you have other $7,000 saved up, and you can still go back into the game and play another game. So it's more about longevity, not about being a whole risk taker, because I know the whole stuff about risk taking is being just going all in. Sometimes you don't go all in, you go partial in, so that you can be able to go in again in case if the first risk you took didn't go well. The fifth one is increase the ability to earn. Now, say for example, you've invested, you've saved, you've controlled your expenditure, and you were able to successfully multiply your good, and we are protecting your good. Before you get to this point, you have to have like a successful business at the moment. So what you have to do is increase your ability to earn, which is by going into other businesses, which is by maybe looking for other opportunities. But at first, you have to be sure that your first business is standing on its own, that it can run without you, that it's already solving a particular problem, and it can function without your presence, without you being there. That's where you look into increasing your ability to earn. That's by going into other businesses. Say for example, you're into like the manufacturing industry, you might decide to go into the oil and gas, you might decide to go into power, you might decide to go into energy. But of course, you need to be very rigid on your first business, that your first business has to be working properly. It has to be working without you. It's not as if you start this one, then in the next 6 months you rush and start to increase your ability to earn. No, you have to do it like consecutively, you have to do it like consistently, because these are all just about like processes for you to achieve that financial freedom. I think when you even attain this particular stage, that's when you can actually like get those luxury stuff, because you're not eating your capital, you're actually eating your, like, you're using your profit to build up your business. You're using your profit to spend, you're using your profit to splurge, you're using your profit to enjoy yourself. Like the oldest man in your community now is not using his capital, he's not using his main capital to enjoy himself. He's using his profit and a little percentage, because he has so many business at the moment. Like, he started with one business, then he was able to save and multiply those he was able to save and he increased his ability to earn. Maybe he was in the oil and gas business, and now he's into manufacturing and some other stuff. So it's more about like, it's a process, it's a journey. If you are able to save up, you're able to control your expenditure, and you're able to multiply your good, and you're able to protect your good from loss, like protecting both the business, the capital, and everything from loss. Then the next thing is you're increasing your ability to earn, because it gives you more wings, and that's when you go out and spend recklessly, you are spending just a fraction of what you make. A fraction of not your overhead, but a fraction of your profits. Like, let's say for example you're spending like 1% of your profit, and maybe someone might think like 1% of your profit might be little money, but when you say 1% of your profit is more of like $1 million. So you see, like, you're spending something that will not harm your business, and over time you see yourself balling. But you don't increase your ability to earn when your business is still small. You increase your ability to earn when your first business which you started, or which you co-founded with other people, is already strong and it's like working on its own, and it can do without you guys. So yeah, and I'm on my way to work. So see you guys next week.